All right, guys, welcome to Artcasters episode 492. I see Dylan in the chats already. That's awesome. And today we're going to get into just kind of catching up with me and Scott. The little bit of the end of Thanksgiving. Let me open a drink and let you guys know where to find us. so, so if you haven't yet, you're on my channel, so hit subscribe, hit the bell, so you get notifications when we're about to go live, and check out Empty Rooms, my latest album on Spotify, and then check out Two Stories, my graphic novel about faith and mental illness, trying to destigmatize hard conversations about depression and panic disorder, as well as just some good old auto-bio indie storytelling, like dressing up like Indiana Jones as for an entire year in elementary school before cosplay was a word, and other such tales in Two Stories. And then Jacob's Apartment, which is my graphic novel about two polar opposite roommates that end up falling for each other. And as they fall for each other, their dreams and reality start interweaving in a doomed romance story about our young adult lives. Not so young adults anymore for Scott and I, but still young adult lives being chased by haunted by our childhood past. So that's Jacob's Apartment. You can get that on Amazon. I just noticed that like Amazon had it on sale for like $14 or something. I don't know if that's still going on, but if it is, that's a good Christmas present for friends of yours who like graphic novels and stuff like that. But you know what else is a great Christmas present? Wacky packs. So, and also Young and the Dead trades. Scott, where can people find your work?
Yeah, so you'll be happy to know if you missed out on the Kickstarter for It Came from the Fridge, my ode to wacky packages, Garbage Pail Kids, my gross out wax packs, stickers, collectible stickers. They are now available at circworks.com. They make great gifts if you know somebody who's into like gross out stuff. So you can either buy them in single packs or you can get a sealed pack or a sealed set with everything, including the three rare autograph cards and everything. So those are available at circworks.com. And the other thing that's available at circworks.com is my comic book, my graphic novel, I guess you could say, trade, whatever you want to call it. I call it comics, but it's Young and the Dead, Kids versus Zombie Adventure Story. Just think Goonies meets Night of the Living Dead. You can see I'm a Goonies fan, so this is my version of Goonies, but instead of pirates and gangsters, it's zombies. So definitely check that out. The other thing is I've got a brand new it's probably a little over a month old YouTube channel, Retro Art Lab on YouTube. Just when you go to YouTube, type in Retro Art Lab. If you aren't already familiar, go check it out. You can see how I created this whole series. There's going to be another short series that's going to launch after that. I've got like 10 videos up there showing how I created this from start to finish. I got a new series coming up, and then after that, I'm going to be doing a collab with Kevin Cross, which I'm looking forward to as well. So a lot of cool stuff happening there. And then, of course, my existing channel, just Circworks Art Labs on YouTube. That'll start getting some new content, comic making content coming out next year. So check out all that stuff. Yeah. So
Nice.
That's me.
All right. So now that we've done our intros, let's introduce our guests ourselves.
Yeah.
So we haven't had like a catch-up episode in a while. We thought it would be good to kind of talk a little bit about what we've been up to, getting back into the grind, and what kind of like our potentially like we could get a little bit into like holiday plans kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But also we got Keeman who just joined in the chats. Hey Keeman. And Dylan, I'm sorry to hear you're having anxiety issues. I get that heavily. I think all of us are pretty neurodivergent in the art world, so I hope you feel better. And just try to be present. That's always my attempt at getting a handle on anxiety whenever I have it. All right, cool. So So yeah, so Scott, how was your holiday? What all do you have on your plate? Yeah, like how is life now that you're I
You,
mean, you wrapped it, came from the
yeah.
fridge. It's kind of interesting. Like what are you managing to make yourself insanely busy with now?
Oh,
And by the
you.
way, you'll notice I can't bring myself to open the beautiful shrink wrapping, the collector in me. So it's like it's probably going to be a couple weeks till I open it because I did get it so that I can display it. So I want to
Yeah.
pop it out, and it's nicely cut to do that too. That's the cool
Yeah.
thing about these display caps. Yeah, but
Yeah, and
yeah.
they're all handmade. So I mean, they're not factory produced or anything like that. I didn't
Mhm,
send anything else out to the printer. I print them all at home. I cut everything.
mhm.
I make
Shrink
the
wraps it with his teeth.
paper.
Like
Yeah, I
it's
do. I've
I'm
got the
kidding.
shrink wrap machine, all that. So it's totally in house. So everything you see there, and that's why I was able to deliver that so soon.
That's amazing.
Because unlike comics, where theoretically on my printer I could probably print comics, it would just take forever and it would not be worth it.
Yeah. You'd
Anyway,
have to
so
buy a really good guillotine cutter to get those edges
yeah,
once it's
yeah, yeah,
perfect bound, and
yeah,
then
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So, but I think you might be sorry to ask that. You asked that question because yeah, it's crazy. It's been crazy over here, but
yeah,
crazy good and crazy hectic. And but I don't know. I just consider myself blessed because I guess sometimes even when bad things pop up, if you kind of wait it out, you kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. But as far, I guess I'll just go back to kind of where we've been. I mean, if you live in the U.S., then you had, like us, you had the Thanksgiving holiday. So that was really cool. It was kind of a crazy time for me and my girlfriend. So she actually had to work, during for Thanksgiving. But I went
yeah. I
over to
think
my,
she's in a similar grind to me, so I
yeah,
get that. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I went out, went over to my brother's house and did the traditional Thanksgiving and everything. But the next day, we woke up the next morning and we took off and we went to San Diego.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so yeah, we had a friend that was celebrating their 60th birthday party, so we went to hang out with them, and it was really cool because they had a whole thing planned, like a whole weekend planned. So we got there. The first thing we did was something that and our friend, evidently, I didn't know this, but they're really big into like games and stuff like that. So we did the scavenger hunt in San Diego in Little Italy downtown. And it's this, I forgot the name of the company, but there's a company and they make these kits, these puzzle kits. And you can order them online and they have different major cities. You get it, you go to wherever the location is, you open it up, and then it's like a mystery you have to solve, but it's interactive throughout the city.
Oh,
So
amazing.
ours was like a spy thing. We had to identify like a whole network of moles that had infiltrated the spy thing. So we had to use our clues and do all this stuff, and we had two different teams, and we each went out, and they'll have different landmarks, and on those landmarks, if there's like say a placard or something by a statue, it'll have dates and things and all those things, and you use all the stuff out there to kind of uncover the clues and everything. So it
Oh,
took
that
us a
sounds
while
so
to,
fun.
it took us a while even to get the first like clue done, but and part of that was because we had different people working, and I kind of I understood what they wanted us to do, but I thought that they were already on top of it and that they are a step ahead of me. And when I realized that they weren't, I'm like, oh no, this is like a secret decoder ring. You have to figure out these numbers match that. So once we got that, then we were kind of off and running, and yeah, it was fun. And then the next day we went to a Mission Beach, and there's kind
Okay.
of like a big boardwalk, and
Yeah,
there's
beautiful
yeah, it's like the big
food.
roller coaster and all that stuff there.
Yeah,
So
good
we went
food too.
there and we did an escape room there, and the escape room we did was right up my alley because it was, where is it? Scooby Doo, right back
Oh,
here.
sweet.
So
Okay.
we did a Scooby Doo mystery, and that was fun. Of
Did
course,
you
it
get
ends with
to?
us.
Did anyone get to use the line? Like I would have gotten away
Oh
with
yeah,
it
that
too.
was. I knew that was coming, and finally towards the end, yeah, when we uncovered who the villain was, that was the line. So
Nice.
But
Did you get to pull off a mask?
we didn't. That was on a screen. They had
Oh,
screens,
okay.
but so there wasn't an actual person you get to pull the mask off. But they had like interactive puzzles. If you've ever been to an escape room,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. But it was all Scooby Doo themed and all that. So, but it was fun, yeah. And then after that, and the third night, they had a party at their house, and they hired somebody to come out and make authentic paella. Like it was just a
Oh,
Spanish
yeah.
dish, and I had it originally when I went to Spain. I don't think I've had it since, but it's got a lot of like seafood and stuff, and it was delicious.
Mm.
And then we got back here. We have another friend who was thinking about. They saw a truck that somebody that does the same thing in our area. So that just sounds like a really cool type of a business where you go out to people's house and I mean, I think I probably posted pictures in our group chat, so you might have seen it, but it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was all really fun and everything. And then we get back, and of course, if you're like myself or Josh, you've got just a lot of stuff going on. So when you take a little break, that stuff piles up. So we get back, and I got all this stuff to do, and then so I'm trying to get on top of all this, and prioritizing things. Like right now, the wax packs are really doing good, especially around the holidays. So I had a lot of orders. I'm selling out of stuff, and so that was the first thing I did, and I'm just kind of going back. And of course, like I said, I'm doing this collab with Kevin, and I got all this other stuff. So just trying to chip away at it, and then I am I'm driving, I'm going on the freeway, and my car just stops accelerating, and like I'm like stuck there. It's not doing anything, and I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Luckily I have AAA. I called them, and they towed me, and it was like, this is like 2 a.m, so I'm waiting for them to come and do all that. But anyway, so I bring my car in, and the damage
it just
is
stopped.
yeah, and so it ended up being the transmission, which, if you know anything about transmissions, which I don't, other than the fact that if your transmission goes out, that's bad.
Yeah, usually that's
expensive.
That's...
So now I am looking for a new car. So
yeah.
So that's not good, but I've got a few options. So yeah, I mean, I kind of I woke up this morning, and my girlfriend just come in, and she says she woke me up and everything, and says, well, I heard back from the shop, and she says it's not good.
The second you hear transmission, that's pretty bad, because usually the cost, unless you're a mechanic, I guess, and you rebuild it, which I'm not.
And I have to keep reminding myself that I'm fortunate, and there's a lot of people that are worse off than me. But it's just like when it hits, you're just like, oh, what now?
Oh, yeah.
I was not expecting this, and like I paid that car off, and as soon as I paid it off, my AC went out. So I put that on my credit card, as well as new tires.
Oh, no.
And so I'm trying to pay this down, and then and I may have paid it off because I had some other. I only use my credit card for emergencies.
Yeah,
but like this emergency was one that I'm not willing to. I'm not willing to charge that. I've got to look for a better situation. A new vehicle or something. But it just sucks. Like I never got that point where I didn't have a car payment. So
yeah.
So anyway, but anyway, I did made some calls and things, and I've got some. I do have some friends that are in like the automobile industry and things like that and stuff like that. So I'm working on it, but it'll all work out. But it's just, it's crazy when that stuff hits. So
yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. And then of course, looking for a car is an ordeal. So, and I could, my son just got a car, and I kind of helped him with that. And he got it through Carvana. So, you can kind of skip a lot of that stuff. But like I said, I have a friend that knows some salespeople and stuff like that. And, so I've got different options. But the problem is I've just got, I've got so much stuff to do. I'll mention this. I don't know if you're going to bring it up or not, but something fun that we're doing, the Artcasters and extended Artcasters community this holiday season, is we're doing a gift exchange.
Mhm.
So Artcasters, Making Comics, of course Corey Kerr, which I still consider an Artcaster.
Yeah.
And we'll probably have to have it. I was thinking we need to reach out to Corey, because every year we did our year-end review, and since he was there last year, we need to bring him back so he can kind of, you know, update what his goals and everything were when we left off.
He's also done quite a bit more on his comics, so I think that would be good to just kind of remind people, you know, of what he's up to. Not that they aren't following him, but you know, it would be good to catch up with him.
And of course Jim Lujan and Gary Hodges, and like I said, the Making Comics guys, Scott and Keith. So we all you know, we've got a chat going, and we do retreats and things like that. But Gary had the idea that we should all draw names from a hat from each other. Whoever you pick, you get to do like a drawing of their character. So I get to do that. I get to work on, I'm trying to work on my own personal Christmas card right now, which I've got it in front of me, but right now I'm just talking. So, but so it's just, you know, it's like one of those things. But again, I have to keep pinching myself, you know, when you're able to kind of do what you love for a living, you really don't have a whole lot of room to complain. But it's like that line from the Joe Walsh song, I can't complain, but sometimes I still do, you know. So
no, I understand. Similar thing with a car. It was like right in the middle of the pandemic. So back when I used to art direct, as you know, I had this like crazy commute. So like almost every 4 years, I'd have to buy a brand new car. Like it was just every 4 years, new car. And I had just paid off a car, and it died on like in a similar way. And it was like right after the shutdowns. And so like the cost of used cars had like skyrocketed because car shipments had stopped. And it was like right in the peak of that my car decided to die. And so that took like a regular car buying experience, which for me, I'm a guy, I like to cross quote and get, you know, car salesmen like working against each other. And I know you can do Carvana, but you can save like $5,000 if you spend one day just doing all the dealerships and doing your research beforehand, so you don't just come in with Kelly Blue Book, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready to go. And then I didn't realize like, it's like a salesman's dream, because like we're lucky if they have a car at the lot, you know. It was nuts. So I empathize with that, because like just the experience of buying a car or bringing your car to the mechanic and then hearing that worst news, the transmission, that's like the second you hear transmission, I'm like, why didn't I take auto shop in high school? Like,
well, even if you did, I mean, you know, because I like
a rough build.
You know, at one point I had, you know, my friend, because I have a Nissan, and at one point, you know, I've got a friend that works at the Nissan dealership, and he worked at one dealership where he knew all the mechanics, and they would work on it on the side, you know, and I can get parts for cost, and I could probably still get the parts for cost. He doesn't know any more mechanics, because he moved to a different dealership. But even we factored that in. I said, even if I can get the transmission for cost, it's still probably not worth it, because it's still so expensive. So
no, you're dropping almost a decent amount to where you should probably
the total was almost $10,000. That's what it would have cost to fix it without any, you know,
which is like why, like at this, you know, that's where you do the math and you're like $10,000 more into this car. I don't know, you know.
And what sucks is when it's at that point, it's like you really don't even have much of a trade in. You don't. I mean, I probably gonna have to sell my. I'm trying to see if if my friend can hook, you know, has somebody that works on cars that might pay me for it and as a project, and they could rebuild it themselves and maybe make some money or something. I don't know, but most likely I'm probably gonna have to sell it as junk, which it's crazy, because, you know, 2 days ago it was fine. There was no problems with it. I'm just driving around. It was a good car. And then it's just like, now it's junk. I don't know.
That's like the worst thing. Also, that's the worst way to have it happen. I guess
there was no sign, or, you know, sometimes you'll get like, oh, something's weird here, or nothing.
Or you hear like a clicking or something weird, you know.
No engine light, no nothing. You're
just like la la la, and it just stops, you know. Were we in the
anyway,
Flintstones times and we could just punch out the floor of the car and you're good to go, you know?
Yeah. But I am looking forward to the gift exchange and everything. I might be kind of down to the wire on it. I'm like this just because this whole weekend shot. I was going to work on it then, but
yeah.
it'll start. You know, I still have a little time, and I'll get it done and everything. But it's just like, you know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah.
I feel you on that, man. I just today at like for those of you who don't know, I've been on this like crazy schedule because I'm an intern, so I'm taking my credential classes in tandem with teaching.
Yeah.
Full time. And then kind of doing a full-time college and then full-time teaching.
Yeah.
So I'll get out of like school. That's one of the reasons Scott and I do Thursdays, and we'll see next semester. We might have to switch the day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's mostly because like most of my college classes are like night classes, and then there's just tons of like research papers and term papers and stuff like that I've been doing all semester. But it's been finals up to like Thanksgiving, my wife wanted to go to Utah to visit family, and so I was set to go, and then we did the math because I have a deadline of January 1st for my book, and then I also have finals and ramp up for finals for full-time classes, and so I have like 6 or 7 term papers I had to write, and wrap up and stuff like that. So we kind of did the math and we're like, yeah, I'll just stay home. So I stayed home, worked here, did Thanksgiving with my family over here, and then did a lot of comics, like cranked out a lot of pages. But today was probably the busiest of all of the days in school. So Monday and Tuesday were my last, like two of my last classes. And then today at 7 a.m., I had to meet with like the person who's like my observer. Because when you're an intern, you're being observed like all the time by the school. And then you're also being observed by the school you work at as a new teacher. So I'd like literally have like teaching observations like 2 or 3 times a week. To the point where I just got super comfortable with it. Like it's a nerve-wracking thing when you're teaching to have like observers come in. But when it's happening all the time, you just get pretty used to it. Like you're like, okay, cool. You're gonna see what I do, the good, bad, and ugly, and whatever works. Like,
yeah.
So that went really well. But I had that meeting at 7, went to school, and then I met my mentor at lunch. So, and then right after I got off school at 4, from 4 to like 5:30 or 6, we had our like closing class for that. So I'm finally done for the semester with college, and so now all I have to worry about is a book deadline for the pages I got to crank out by January 1st, and my teaching, which it's funny. Most people would be like, man, I have 2 jobs. This is really stressful. And I'm like, I only have 2 jobs. That's awesome. Like I only have 2 full-time jobs. That's so much easier. But it feels like a weight lifted off of me because it's like been that third thing that has made the juggling pretty hard. So yeah, it's been busy, just cranking out pages. I love my publisher, and I love teaching, and I love learning. So it's like kind of like Scott was saying, where it's like I'd complain, but I mean, if you're gonna pick what to be busy with, and it's all things you love,
yeah,
right? I can't complain because it's like if any of these things was something I hate, then I'd really be struggling. But the fact that I love it all makes it like kind of the balance. Like even though it's close to impossible, it's fun. And so that's pretty cool. And then what's cool too, I've managed to kind of keep a 4.0 and stuff like that.
awesome.
And I forgot about that. I'm a weird.
I hope I never have to think about that again, because Yeah, 4.0 is just not even in the stratosphere of my educational background. I'd be lucky if I got C's.
I mean, I'm a nerd, so
no.
you know, I was like an AP kid in high school and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I struggled so much in school. Yeah.
I struggled in math and in science. Like math in particular, if you put me like even my son's 12 now and like 12-year-old level math I struggle with and he'll be like, "Dad, it's just this." And I'm like, I knew that." I'm so bad at math. I remember when I got into like when I got done with all my GEs in college and took my last math class, I felt the most relief I've ever felt in my life where I was like, I will never have to take another math class for the rest of my life. No matter what I do, unless I decide to be a scientist, I'm never gonna have to do math. Like, and then I became an art director where you have to do math all
Oh
the
yeah.
time.
Oh yeah.
Because you're doing overseas production and everywhere overseas is decimals. Everywhere here is on this stupid system. So you're converting fractions to decimals, like and inches to millimeters, like all the time. And then having to come up with stuff like, how do I figure out the radius of a necklace? Right. So I can have it produced.
Right.
Because now I have to actually figure out, wait a minute, if I turn that into a line, how long is that? Like, it's stuff like that that you don't think about, and then you're in the real world, and I'm thinking back to my young self telling, you know, a math teacher, "I could care less. I'm never gonna use this in my life." And it's like, "Oh, yeah, you actually do have to use that stuff." Um,
Yep.
but anyhow, yeah, I empathize with struggling in school just because of that. But yeah, it's been pretty fun. And my observation went really well today. My last observation, I got a lot of compliments, which was surprising to me about my teaching and stuff. So, not that I feel bad about my teaching, but I'm very I don't know, Scott, you probably have this too, but I think one of the reasons we even started doing things like Artcasters or live streaming and stuff is I'm a self-analytical person. I tend to look at something I did and think, okay, what can I do better the next time I do something like that? What did I do well? Right? What can I
Hmm.
improve on? And so because of that, I rarely am looking at myself and going, good job. Like I'm quite often finding myself like sort of like feeling like I don't know anything like all the time. And so to have somebody you know telling me I'm doing a really good job is encouraging because it's like all I'm seeing are like things to improve the next time, you know. Um so that was really encouraging today because it was like the final observation for the semester and apparently I'm doing pretty good, pretty darn well.
Oh,
So
that's good.
yeah, so but yeah, I'm kind of I mean, I didn't have a car failure, so I'm thankful for that cuz that was a nightmare and is always and probably will happen soon.
Don't
Luckily
say
not
that.
as soon now that I work closer. I
Yeah.
just realized that was something I realized last year towards the end of the year. I was like, I'm not going to have to buy a car for like a really long time cuz my job's like 5 minutes away, you know.
Yeah.
Um Don't commute, guys. Don't take a long commute if you're out there. Like, it's not worth whatever job it is to lose 4 hours a day. It's not. Um, but yeah, anyhow, I don't know. That's kinda what I've roughly been up to and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I always find that interesting, getting, like, outside observers, you know, it's kinda like equivalent to, like, when you first start working professionally as an artist and after a little bit you have people telling you your work's cool and you're like what. You know, initially it's like really off-putting because you're like I don't see that, you know, and then you kind of have to learn to. I don't know if you had that, but I struggled to learn to just kind of take a compliment and be like thank you, you know. Like when
Yeah.
if
Oh
somebody's
yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
Because my
My
gut
thing is,
instinct is always like, like, why would you have read a story I wrote and think it's good? I
well, for
can't
me,
write,
it's like
you know?
I always hope people think that,
Mhm.
but I also don't want to, I I don't want to sound like full of myself or whatever. So it's hard for me to take a compliment without feeling like I'm being arrogant or something like that. And
Yeah, that's
sometimes you get
another
to,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, where it's like if you're aware something's good, like
yeah,
then if somebody's like it's good and you're like I know, it's
yeah,
like it's it. How do you do that in a non like cocky way? Um, and then also we're kind of I don't know. I mean, I got that '90s thing, the '90s kid thing of like late '80s, early '90s kid. I think you're more like mid '80s, but I think that generation, it like I don't know, there was something kind of uncool about you know um being complimented. Like especially
yeah,
I don't know, man, like '90s era, it's like I don't know, we're kind of the cynical generation, so it's like so it's like I don't know if we're allowed to compliment or take compliments. Like yeah, it's interesting. That is a funny balance. Yeah. Anyhow, I don't know. It's been something I've consciously tried to work on. I don't know if you guys in the chats have that, but I definitely you know, yeah. Mydrin said, "I'm so bad at math. I've been told by doctors to never go anywhere without a calculator." You
I
know
tell
what?
myself that. Luckily,
Uh,
now we don't have to. Now we've got a
boom,
calculator wherever we
boom.
go.
No calculator needed. It's on my phone. Yeah, that's the best. That's the best thing ever. I tend to be very anti AI, but if we're talking math, I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go AI. Let's make this happen. um. Anyhow, yeah. So what's the plan for like what's the run up to Christmas looking like for you? It
Oh, gee.
sounds chaotic.
Yeah, I'm sure that's pretty much the case with most people.
Hmm.
Um, so, yeah, I mean, I could tell you this: I haven't even started Christmas shopping, so it's probably going to be a little slimmer than usual.
Hmm.
But but yeah, I've got to start looking into that. And then we always kind of have my family over on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day I go over and with my girlfriend to some friends and just hang out there. Um, so yeah, all that. It's just, and I don't know why, but I also scheduled a bunch of stuff in December. Like I think I've got like doctor's appointments and stuff like that. And like, why did I do that? Um, so yeah, all that stuff. But it's like I think if I can get. Oh, the other thing is because usually after Thanksgiving, on that Black Friday or that weekend is
Yeah.
usually when I put up my Christmas decorations. And so since we were out of town, I couldn't do that. So I haven't even put up any decorations or anything.
Yeah,
So
we haven't yet either,
yeah,
because it's just been like chaos. But yeah,
yeah. I was going to do it this weekend, but now I don't know because I think I'll be looking for cars.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing about me too, is like I would be usually doing a lot of that, but I think unfortunately I'm gonna be a really bad husband this year, and most of that Christmas decoration's not gonna be helped by me because
Right.
I'm literally just on the gun for this book, which is a good thing. It's good to have, like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining because it's cool to have a book deal and stuff, but
Yeah.
the deadline is fast approaching and the pages are shrinking, but not as fast as I'd like. So towards like once I'm off for Christmas break, that week is gonna be just not sleeping for like a week,
Yeah.
um, and just pumping out, very very much like a early freelance life kind of lifestyle I'm gonna have for that, which is not something I look forward to. For any of you guys out there who want to go into art professionally, those first few years of trying to cut your teeth doing art, at least for me, were like lots of sleepless nights and like 20-hour days. Like, it was kind of nuts. But the nice thing about that is, having been there, it's like I always know I can turn on that part, the deadline part, you know.
Yeah.
Scott, I'm sure you have that too, where it's like we don't do as many crazy all-nighters as we probably did when we were younger on
Nope.
art projects. But if a client comes or some opportunity comes and you're forced to like go back, you're like, okay, I know how to do this. Let's brew some coffee. Like, I'm gonna get the podcast queued up, and we're gonna rock this business.
Yeah, that's really what I'm gonna have to do, and also make plans. I mean, make time for family and stuff too, obviously. But
Yeah.
I I think I just need to, like, while I'm working and stuff, just put on, I don't know, put on Christmas music or something to get me in the spirit, because it's like I'm at the point where it's kind of like, oh, I wish it wasn't December yet. If he could have gave me another week or two, then I'd be totally into it. But yeah, you can't control control time. So I just gotta get in the spirit, and because I do love, I do love the season and everything, and everything that goes with it. So yeah,
No, it is the best time of
yeah.
year. It's hard to remember. I think I have a similar thing where there's this oh my gosh, I've been reading this book. I'm gonna find it real quick. But I talked about it on live stream a little bit, but it is phenomenal. Where is it? I know this is wildly entertaining to the people listening. let me search my phone. I'm trying to find the icon for Audible because I've been listening to it on Audible. Whilst I am searching.
So let me ask you, while you're searching, I'll ask you. So, without giving anything away, do you have an idea what you're going to do for the gift exchange?
I don't know if I'm in it, and if so, I don't know who I got.
Oh, you better check that out. Did you agree to be in it?
I kind of thought I said I was too busy because I have like hundreds of pages to do.
Okay.
But then there was a response where I was like, did I soft agree to this without realizing it? Which is okay. But if I did, I don't know where.
Did you get a message from Gary's girlfriend?
No,
because she's the one that drew him. If you didn't,
okay,
then maybe you're not.
So then hopefully what I said was clear. But if you guys are, especially the Crestline chat, if any of you guys, if I am in it, I will not back out now. Like, if I am on the list, but if I am on the list, please let me know who I'm assigned to, because hopefully I'm not, because again, like, that could be one panel, and at this point I need that panel. But it sounds super fun. I'm bummed to miss out on that, honestly. But yeah, it was just like a deadline looming kind of thing where every minute to draw counts.
Yeah, I was, when we were talking about it, I was thinking, I don't know how Josh is going to do this, but then I see like sometimes you'll post like these amazing pieces that you do while you're at school, like as demos. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll just somehow working into that or something. But yeah,
I mean, I could make it work at the worst case scenario. So if Gary, if I was on the list and I'm forgetting, or I just didn't get the message or something, let me know. But I think I safely opted out.
Yeah.
That's something that took me a long time, was learning how to say no to things like that that I really want to do. That's something I worked on a long time. And then I had a year of saying no to things to where I had to like work on the opposite. So I don't know, it's an interesting balance, this life thing, and I was supposed to be looking for Audible. Oh my gosh. I'll just look up the name, because it was The Daemon and the Soul of the West. It's this like book by this philosopher.
Oh, I think, weren't you talking about that on the live stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one of his takes on it, he's a guy who was a physicist, and he believes that time is like a crystal. This isn't like crystal healing type stuff. Don't worry, guys. But he thinks like basically, there's a lot of physicists who apparently look at things this way, where it's like the substance of reality is kind of like time is like seeing through the crack of like a fence, like an instance of an entire thing that already exists as like a crystal. That's an idea that people have about like what existence looks like, because time is something we experience, but especially determinists in it believe the idea that like what has happened is fixed, what will happen is fixed, and we're kind of seeing this little glimpse between those slits of the window or whatever. It's a bad explanation. I'm not a
Hmm.
physicist, okay? But that has actually been a really interesting thought to me, and it's been something where I'm like, I'm trying to kind of embrace my moment of now, because like whenever I get in those theoretical mindsets of like you were describing, where it's like, "Ah, I wish it was like I wish Christmas was at a different time, or if only my car didn't die, or if only it's like, which slit in time are we wishing for? Because like some of those slits are awful. Like I don't know if I want to go to some of the other ones. There might be times in the future where I'll look back at this little moment, and kind of go, like, that was a good section, of this timeline.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like the idea of like putting on Christmas music, or like getting in trying to get in a good mental space,
Yeah.
Because I've definitely had seasons of my life where I would let like things control my things that are in my control. I would let be controlled by exterior things.
Hmm.
And I'm getting a little better at not doing that. But I don't know. There's times where it's tested. Like if you know, transmission blows out, like that's definitely one of those testing times.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't know. It's hard to like try to remember to like try to enjoy the present, because like, you know, I don't know. We could be in hospital beds.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. Anyhow, it's a good book though. Oh, Bernardo Castrup. That's who I was trying to think of. I've been like reading that really interesting stuff. So that's what you need to do, Scott, is get an audiobook by Bernardo Castrup and just pull some all-nighters and work on some catching up.
Yeah, I've been listening to I didn't know this was a thing, but there's Twilight Zone radio dramas that are on YouTube.
Wait,
And I
what?
yeah, yeah,
I didn't know
yeah.
they had radio dramas.
Well, they're not like old, like back when radio was a thing. They were produced, I would say probably in the early 2000s, maybe, judging by some of the guest stars they have doing voices and things like that. Um,
Okay.
so, and some of them are recreations of actual episodes, and it's kind of interesting to hear it. I'm listening to the one where, spoiler alert, they're just a bunch of these people are trying to figure out how they're trapped in something, and they're like odd, like one's a clown, one's a soldier, and they end up being toys in a toy box. You know, I'm listening to that one, so I already know how it ends, but it's interesting. And I listen to the Eye of the Beholder, where you're familiar with that famous one, where
You got to remind me, because I
yeah.
probably
So
will.
Eye of the Beholder, again, if you don't, close your ears if you don't want to get spoiled for something that's, I don't know how many years old,
Look,
but
if you're worried about Twilight
yeah,
Zone marathon spoilers, then
yeah.
I don't know where to send you. Like,
No,
yeah,
Eye
yeah.
the Beholder is one where this woman, she's in a hospital, her face is bandaged up, and they're
I
saying,
remember this
we
one.
got to did the surgery, and we're hoping, because it flashes, and I don't remember if this was in the actual episode, but it starts when she's a little girl and she comes out to play with another little girl, and they go, "Oh, you're hideous," and all that, and ends up they undo the bandages, and she's like beautiful, but then they look at all the people around her, and they're like hideous looking. So it's like kind of flips it. So,
That's
and like,
great.
"Oh, you're so ugly," and but she's like totally stunning and everything. So, but yeah, so I listened to that one, and there's some that I know there's some that are original, and there's some that I know I've watched probably every Twilight Zone, but there's some
Yeah.
that I forget or whatever like that. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. I just put them on, and they're really, yeah, I mean, they're just cool to listen to. So yeah.
Yeah, I had forgotten about. Oh man, I watched a marathon of Twilight Zones like last year, and I completely forgotten about the one about the old man who like he
Burgess Meredith with
no, no, it wasn't Meredith. Or maybe he was. Maybe it was Meredith because I know Meredith was the one in the glasses where he loses
Yeah,
his
that's the one I
glasses.
thought you were
That's
talking about. Yeah,
yeah, but this one's like an old guy who's like in an
Time Enough at
elderly
Last.
home. Yeah, no, not time enough at
No,
last, but
that's the one with Burgess
yeah,
Meredith. But
yeah,
what was the one you're?
that's easily the best I think
Yeah.
Twilight Zone ever. But this one's like an old guy in an old person's home, and he goes outside and starts throwing snowballs with these kids,
Uh-huh.
like because it's snowing, and everybody's like teasing him at the old person's home, like, "Why are you playing with these kids? You're old. You got to just kind of embrace being old."
Yeah.
And he starts getting the feeling that if he like follows these kids where they're playing, he's gonna become a kid again.
Yeah.
And so he tries to convince his like friend at the old person's home, like, "Hey, like I figured it out. Like the secret to youth. Like we just have to go play with these kids, and then we're gonna go with them into the forest or whatever, and we'll become kids again."
Yeah.
And he tries to get his friend to come, and the guy's just like old and grumpy, and he's just like, whatever, forget about it. So then the catch is he does it and actually becomes a kid, and then the rest of the old person's home are all kind of looking at the kids playing, and they're like, "No, take us with you," and it's like
Yeah,
it's
that
too
was
late for
they I
them.
think
That was
I'm
a
pretty
great
sure
one.
that they redid that in the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, the kid, but it was Kick the Can. They were playing Kick the
yeah,
Can,
that
you
was
know.
a kick the can.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he realized that was the secret. You just have to go out there and play kick the can. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's such a good one.
Yeah.
I had forgotten about that, but I rewatched that like last year, and I was like, it is funny with Twilight Zone episodes where you can like forget
Yeah. Yeah.
some of them and then be
And you're
like,
like,
oh
"Oh, that's
yeah,
this one." But they're so
yeah,
I mean, they're so good, and the fact that Rod Serling wrote most of them,
oh
and
yeah,
he's just like these amazing like twist endings and
dude.
things like they're just so good.
Sterling Bradbury, William Faulkner, like sound.
Matheson's another one that wrote, yeah, a
I
lot of good
mean,
ones.
you had some of the heaviest writers like
Yeah.
in English, like in general. I mean, Faulkner's not even like a sci-fi writer. Faulkner's known for like writing this like like The Sound and the Fury, like these heavy books and stuff. And it's like he was writing because they paid by the word really well, so they got like a ton of yeah. It's funny too because I think the youth one might have been written by Bradbury because it has Bradbury overtones.
Yeah,
But
it sounds
yeah,
like I watched Something Wicked This Way Comes for the first time like a couple months ago.
mm.
Yeah, I had never seen it before, but
I don't
that
think
was
I've
good.
seen it. I read it, but I don't know
Yeah.
if I've seen it because I noticed that a lot of Bradbury's work, like for some reason, a lot of the adaptations don't tend to be. I don't know if that one was good, but I feel like sometimes they kind of they've not been able to really capture the magic of his books, in a lot of movies. But I don't know if that one. I don't know. I guess I'd have
I
to.
liked it, but I mean it's a Disney movie from the 80s, but I thought they did a really good job with it. But again, I didn't read the book, so that's hard to say. Like I went and saw the Running Man, which the new Running Man, not the Schwarzenegger one, but I have been waiting
How
for
was
them to.
it?
I had higher hopes for it. It's worth watching. It's definitely worth
Yeah,
watching. Uh, this is like I said, I kind of had high hopes because this is a movie that I have been wanting them to remake. Like I'm not a big remake guy, but this is
yeah,
one that I've been wanting them to remake because if you've read the Stephen King short story, the Schwarzenegger one is like so far away from the source material. I'm like, oh, I really want them to do. I mean, it's fun. It's fine for what it is. It's corny and
yeah,
it's enjoyable, but that story just resonated with me so much. And since then, since it was he wrote that before reality TV was a thing, and so many of these things have come to be almost a reality. What the things that he talked about in that book, and it was just so good. And then I saw the trailer, and there's scenes in the trailer. It looks so faithful to it. It was definitely a lot more faithful than the Schwarzenegger one.
yeah.
The themes and everything were, but some of it I really liked. I mean, glad they made it. I'm glad that I got to see it because I've been, like I said, I've been wanting. But for one thing, they didn't really stick the landing. It felt like they had an ending, and then they showed
Yeah.
it to audiences, and they said, "Oh no, we don't like this." And then so they bunch of studio interference because it definitely the book has a very dire ending, and this one
Yeah.
looked like it was headed that way, and then it's just like
They
what how it
Disney-fy the ending.
how yeah it's like bad to the point where it's like so I mean the ending, but there's enough good stuff in there. I would still definitely recommend. Maybe you don't want to go out and pay to see it, but definitely
Yeah.
when it comes to on streaming or whatever, watch it because there's a lot of good stuff. And the guy that played the main character, he was in that new Twisters movie, and he was in Top Gun,
Okay.
and he's probably gonna be the next big action star, I'm guessing. But he was pretty good, and yeah, so yeah, but yeah, I just had really high expectations, especially after I saw the trailer. And there's things in there like I won't, without giving it away.
Yeah.
There's things that the way that book ends was before a major thing that happened in history, fairly recent history. And since then, you're like, there's no way they can do this ending because the way it ended was so tragic, and it reflects something that since then has happened in real life.
Yeah.
And it looked like they were going to do that, and I wasn't surprised that they didn't, but what they did instead, I wasn't crazy about. So anyway, but yeah, so it's but yeah, it was all right. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I want to see them redo Maximum Overdrive.
Oh yeah,
It's so
that's
dumb.
another one. I mean, I don't think that story was all that great from what
It's
it
so
was a very
bad.
short story. The
It's
short
such a
story
bad.
was, but it was like nothing. Yeah, yeah. But in the if I remember correctly, and maybe this happened in I remember in the story, everything went crazy, or maybe it did in the movie too. But
It did in the movie too.
yeah, because
Yeah.
I remember the story was called Trucks, and it was
Mhm.
just yeah, it was.
It's Stephen King has a notorious just coke-headed phase, like
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
where
It's definitely in that.
he openly talks about it, where he
Yeah,
was
well,
just
and
on
he
like way
directed
too much
that.
cocaine and
He
came up with
directed that
ideas
movie
like that.
while he was high on cocaine too, and it
Yeah.
shows.
Oh yeah, it's so great. It's like half of it takes place at like a truck stop where it's like we got to stop these trucks. It's so good.
Yeah, yeah,
It's so good.
yeah.
And the
Yeah,
like
Stephen King's kinda hit or miss. Like, he's great with ideas, but then
yeah,
sometimes they just go crazy off the rail. Like, it's like, okay, that's
yeah.
one way to go.
Yeah, I feel like my favorite stuff by Stephen King was all in this collection of short stories called Different Seasons.
Uh-huh, yeah,
And like he was just on like a genius streak. Like cuz that's where you have Shawshank Redemption, you have what is it? Adept Pupil?
apt
Um
pupil, yeah.
Apt Pupil.
Yeah,
And
Dylan in the real quick, Dylan in the comment. Yes, you're right. You guessed it. When
yeah,
he
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think there's something with a plane and
yeah,
other
yeah,
things.
it
Yeah.
was 9/11 is what I was referring
Yeah.
to, yeah, but
Um But yeah, Apt Pupil, and then you have what was it? Stand by Me. All of those are
yeah,
all like he wrote those all like for the same collection of short stories. It's like wild that he was
yeah.
just that like. Anyhow, it's a great collection of. I think that was like his best
Yeah,
stuff.
my favorite stuff for him is the stuff that is not not really typically what people would consider like horror-wise, like Stand By Me,
Yeah,
um, which was called The Body. The story was called The Body, and then
yeah,
like The Green Mile,
yep.
Shawshank, which was another short
Rita
story.
Hayworth in the
Yeah,
Shawshank Redemption.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
oh, what was the other? Apt Pupil also I think
yeah.
is
Apt
one of his
Pupil.
most
Yeah,
horrifying movies.
yeah,
I have trouble watching that movie, but it's
yeah,
such a good horror movie. Like it's
yeah.
so good. Um yeah, I think you can't knock King too much, but it's like I definitely am one of those people when I was reading, I don't know, like as a kid, I never I don't know, a lot of people I knew were like, you gotta read it. And I just didn't do it for me. Of course, I also
Yeah, there's like
really
this
don't
weird
like
cosmic
clowns.
turtle, and that's what I'm talking about. You just weird stuff like, okay, cosmic turtles. All right, yeah.
Cosmic Turtles would be a good Ninja Turtle ripoff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Let's make a series called Cosmic Turtles. Next wax pack, Scott. What do you think?
Yeah, that'll be my that'll
Oh,
be the next.
Scott, I have as a little side project at school. I allow myself to like add like 2 lines because I got acrylic like Posca type markers, like the paint
Uh-huh.
pens.
Yeah,
Those things
yeah.
are amazing, dude.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah.
Because it's like having a little acrylic palette but not having to mix the paint. So like if you're wanting to paint, but you have to do it in little fits and starts, like it's the perfect thing. So um I have this little side project where one of my TAs asked me to he was drawing like a duck and he was
Mhm.
like, you should paint a duck. And I'm like, all right. So
Yeah.
whenever I take roll, I'll add like 2 lines and then I'll go back to like teaching my class and stuff. And what I've ended up making was like a psychotic Donald
You
Duck.
yeah, you posted it, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
when I did it, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of garbage paily, like a little
Yeah.
bit." And so I'm now working on a psychotic Mickey in the same way, just like 5 seconds a day.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I'm gonna do all the Disney characters as just like psychotic characters, just as like a little outlet, like what you know. So at some point, I might I don't know, have to like look into some kind of thing. Like that would be a funny set of cards. I'd
Oh
probably get
yeah.
sued by
Yeah.
Disney though. It's parody though, pretty clear
Yeah, I don't
parody.
know. Who knows? I most of the packs that I do, I don't own the rights to. So
Yeah, but
yeah.
I do feel like poking at the bear and
Yeah.
doing, like anytime you do a dark parody of Mickey Mouse, it's like
Yeah.
that hasn't always ended well for
No.
cartoonists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I guess the guys who did that parody, what was it called? Mickey and the Pirates or whatever,
Mhm.
they won. They
Oh,
won the
did they?
court case. Yeah, it was one of the fundamental pieces of legislation that protected parody law. Yeah, which is kind of wild. But also the guy who won kind of went bankrupt in the process.
That's
So
what that's what I that's what I heard. So that's like, did they really win? Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah. That's man, Disney's a one to watch out for, you guys. If you're out there, I'm just saying, don't get in a litigation battle with Disney.
not a good
Uh,
idea.
no, 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 no. Anyhow, so but anyhow, I thought of you when I finished that first one because I was like, oh, this came out kind of garbage paily, and then I was like, oh, Scott would probably do this,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
funny. I was going through my Google Drive and trying to organize all my files and stuff, and I came across I don't know if you remember when we were we were trying to come up with the idea. It was mostly Jim, but they were all doing it, but coming up with these conspiracy theory cards.
Oh, that would
Like,
have been amazing.
yeah, it was like Garbage Pail Kids, but they were all different based on different weird conspiracy theories. And we had
Oh.
jotted down all these. I was looking at some of those ideas and like, oh, those are pretty funny. But
Yeah, we had this idea of doing like a card deck where we'd have like every classic conspiracy theory as a character. Like the
yeah,
person it would be about the theorists. Who are the theorists who believe this thing? I still think that's a pretty winning idea.
yeah,
But that was also one of those 3 in the morning ideas.
yeah, it's a fun idea. The only thing is having to draw all those characters would be
Yeah.
an undertaking. Yeah,
Yeah. We got to just go on Facebook and offer people, exposure and get
oh
them to
yeah, that's how
draw.
to do it. Or just generate it with AI. That's what we
Hey,
do
there you
nowadays.
go. How
Yeah,
sharp are your prompts, Scott?
yeah.
I heard they're making majors in school that are about generating, like you could major in being an AI generator.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
like, that to me, if there's a sign that our world is just coming to an end, that's a good one. Oh my
Jeez.
gosh. But I don't know, who somebody was talking to me about they have they've had competitions where people like will hang out and see who can out prompt who.
Oh yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't
There's
really
a
doubt
there's a Benji right back there over he's growing out of my shoulder.
it.
I have a growth on my shoulder. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, now it's getting bigger.
Oh,
It's spreading.
hello.
He
Hello.
can't hear us.
Oh no, you guys, I'm in danger. there's an axe.
Oh gosh.
I don't know how this is gonna end. How you doing, Ben? He's working on his homework. They give him way too much homework, I will say, at 12.
Oh
It's
man, I
wild.
remember that, with my kids. It was just like, man, that's a lot of homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's statistics on homework, and apparently it's because I've had to read a bunch of stuff about education, recently.
Yeah.
And a lot of modern studies like show that like homework doesn't really benefit. Like,
Jeez.
I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe people should read those.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I do think back to times in my life where I did homework and then I learned something. So I don't know. Maybe those studies were wrong.
Yeah.
There's studies probably proving everything somewhere. I don't know. Who knows? Are they double blinded? Are they legit? I don't know. So what's the plan, Scott? Like, so you've got holiday card, that kind of stuff. Are you also kind of kicking into gear with the new book, or is that kind of on the side right now? I
That
would
right
imagine.
now I'm shooting to I want to launch the new channel, around the first of the year, and with that is going to be kind of me working on the new comic, and kind of taking everyone through that journey of me kind of creating that. So that's still the plan, but I'm so excited to get going on that. I mean, I kind of threw in the whole wax it came from the fridge project in the middle of that, which I'm glad I did, because the timing kind of worked. If I was going to do it, I needed to do it then.
Yeah, no, I think you pulled the trigger at the right time, because you
that put
had
me back
most
a
of the
little bit.
assets for it. Yeah.
Yeah, that put me back a little bit. So now that that's out of the way, I mean, moving forward, I'm gonna try to concentrate it mostly on just generating new wax packs, and the new comic, and if things pop up every now and then, I get every once in a while I get requests to do the wax packs. It's funny because people see them, and they're and I'll get contacted by companies that want to do something, or some kind of like the thing with the Cerebus stuff, or I've got some other opportunities that from people that have seen them that want stuff like that too. So
Yeah.
but as far as other than stuff like that just kind of people discover me, I don't really market myself as a freelance artist or anything for the most part. So I just want to kind of work on my own stuff and everything. So as long as I can keep enough income, with the kind of business things I already have going on, and also like digital products and stuff that still, release some of those, and keep on top of that. As long as if I can keep money going on, coming in from that kind of stuff, then I can focus on the comic, because right now I don't know exactly how or if I'll be able to monetize it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of committed to figuring out ways to monetize it as I'm creating it. That's not with comics. That's not always an easy thing to do. So we'll just have to see what I can do. I'm planning to do some kind of hip hop themed prints and things like that around that aren't part of the comic, but are kind of in the same vein, and see if, I can generate some interest, and basically kind of build an audience for the book as I'm creating it, so that when I do launch it, that there'll be a much bigger audience usually than I'm used to, like with my other comic book projects. Because I really do think that this one is going to appeal to a broader audience, but I have to kind of also find that audience, go to where they're at.
Yeah.
That's why, if I do some cool, hip hop inspired prints, and get known for doing that kind of thing, and reach that audience, then I can really sell this book. So that's kind of what I'm planning on doing once I kind of revamp my existing YouTube channel, and go into that. And we'll have before Christmas, we'll do an episode where we review our last year kind of goals and things like that. Probably not this episode, but the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. And
yeah, hopefully we'll get Corey to
we'd like to
hop
get
in
Corey
on that.
we'll have to reach out to him
Yeah.
if he's available. But yeah, so do that. And then
we could tell him, like, Corey, you're either coming on or we're having an AI of you come on.
yes,
He'll be there in an
yes.
instant.
Yeah. So we usually do that. And then after Christmas, before, the first of the year, or a little after the first of the year, whatever episode, however the episodes fall, we usually make our goals so we'll be making our goals for 2026. So we always do those 2 episodes at the end of the year. Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know, I mean, I'm thinking, I think I'm hosting the next episode. I don't know. It may be another one like this where it's just Josh and I or close friends, because it's just I don't want to bother trying to get people on the show before people are so busy now around this time of year.
Yeah, and I think honestly, with me, it's a lot of it's also just like I don't have the wherewithal to get guests at this point because I'm on crunch time for a deadline. Right. So it's like either there'll be a new book in September of next year, or we'll have a guest.
I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not trying to get on Josh's case, but every time Wednesday or Thursday rolls around, it's like, hey, Josh, you got a guest? Do you have a topic?
Which I appreciate, and I know why you're doing that. Which is I appreciate too.
But even if it just ends up just being us, some of the, I mean, I especially since we had a little break, it's nice to kind of get to hang out and just.
Well, and this is what Artcasters was, when I think I initially joined, was kind of like, let's hang out, work on art. I think you've been working a little bit. I've been working a little bit during this too. So it's actually kind of refreshing to do these as like a palate cleanser, now, hopefully for the audience too. Mydrin said, as a scientist, I have seen the evidence that homework is I think you meant detrimental, probably not departmental, for students, and leads to burnout. No joke. It's part of a book I'm writing. Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That is.
Yeah. The stuff that I've read about it, it does sound like there's a lot of science backing that, which is interesting to me, but it wouldn't shock me if we had a whole system built on something that's ineffective. I wouldn't be too surprised by that. And then Dylan, also, I wanted to make sure I highlight this. He said, according to my YouTube recap, you were my top channel.
Oh, awesome.
He said, I watched you 344 times this year. And he said since his father passed away, he's been watching Artcasters episodes from this year.
Oh, man. That's
dude. Dylan, I'm sorry for your loss, and I appreciate that we're able to like fill some space there and keep you entertained and stuff. Thank you. That means a lot. Wow.
Yeah, one of these days, Dylan, when I do an appearance at Surprise Comics, you got to come out so I can get to meet you in person. So
yeah, you're in Arizona, man.
Yeah, I believe it's in Surprise. So
dude, you got to make it happen, Dylan. Yeah.
I don't know if I have anything. I won't have anything planned for a little while, but yeah.
Yeah, but you do signings there quite a bit. So make sure you get out there, Dylan. Like that would be really cool. We want to put a face to the name. That's always fun. That's how we met Philip a while ago. Philip Chandler. I did a signing up in Toronto and met Philip in person. It was great.
It's cool. Every once in a while, do a show and somebody will introduce themselves, and it's like, okay, and you get to put the face to the name, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Josh? Other than just grinding on the book.
That is my
school and all that.
Yeah. So school's, like, the nice thing is school's kind of wrapping up. So I'm obviously going to have to do a lot of grading and kind of prepping for finals and stuff like that. And there is a lot of, as you start getting towards the end of the semester, this might be a shock to people who don't like school, but most teachers do not want to fail kids. So usually when you start getting towards the end of the semester, it's where you're really trying to like get those kids in action so they can get through, like you're trying to help kids who maybe fell along the cracks, just to like give them as many opportunities to not fail as possible. So that kind of gets you occupied, right? Because I take makeup work up to like the last week of the semester. I always hated that I growing up, I always hated the teachers who'd be like, "That was the deadline. You're screwed." Like
Yeah.
I never want
Yeah.
to be that teacher. I never want to give somebody rope to hang themselves with. So I um I always try to like kind of allow a lot of makeup work, but that means like towards the end of the semester when I am getting like kids who want to, they miss something or something like that. I'm doing a lot of grading. So there'll be that. There's going to be yeah, definitely crunch time on the comic, but the kind of nice thing is I'm going to have like full focus on the comic, which is really cool. And then I do think at one point we have my wife's family's coming up to Orange County, um and so we're probably going to do Christmas in Orange County. So that should be pretty cool.
Yeah, and
Um
that's kind of what I meant, because I mean, obviously we know you got so much work to do, but
yeah, yeah.
what you kind of you're gonna do for the holidays and stuff like
Well,
that.
and this is the beautiful thing, and the thing I'm really enjoying about teaching. Like teaching's hard. It is a hard job. It is sometimes like people do look at teachers and think like, put a lot on teachers, even though they're doing a lot for a very low amount of money. Like,
Hmm.
um, but that being said, the one huge benefit of being a teacher is you get, I mean, there's a lot of benefits like, teaching people, having meaningful job, that kind of stuff. But the biggest benefit is the time off. So like, the amount of time when you were a kid in elementary school you'd have off for winter, that's what I got, which means that's like handing me the football like right at the end and clearing the field. So now I'm good to kind of get this thing done. So that I'm excited about because there will be a point towards the end of winter here, like the end of December, where all I have to do is the comic and then maybe Christmas. And then
Yeah.
for presents, we thought way ahead. So like we're good for like we got
Oh.
all the presents, which is
Oh,
kind of cool.
dude, that has got to be an amazing. I've never had that feeling. There's never been a Christmas where I wasn't still shopping for stuff on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, like I don't know. My wife and I tried it last year because like there's certain ways to like you can get things cheaper online, but quite often, like if you're getting things that are quality that are cheaper, quite often you have to really order earlier. So the shipping, because the shipping
Yeah.
can be the thing that makes or breaks. So we just like I because of my schedule, it was like I pretty much told my wife I have like one day where I was free like last month. And I was like, okay, honey, this is either we're gonna get presents for people or no presents are gonna happen.
Yeah.
She's like, so we just sat and we made a list of everybody we had to buy for, and we just crunched through it in one day.
Dude, that's
Um,
awesome.
and now I'm thankful because it's like, yeah, that thing's off our plate.
I
But we
will.
did that a couple years ago, over a couple days. This year it was a little tough though, but we made it happen. And again, we were fortunate, we're tight financially, but like we still were like well like we did well enough to be able to get people presents, which was a huge thing. So,
Yeah.
um, and again, like I never want to take for granted like the good things, that we have in our lives,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I do remember, I forgot, I did get some Christmas gifts already. Like when I went to the decon, I had
Oh
bought some
dude,
gifts for
that
people.
that would have been hard not to just get everything there and then just go broke.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well, I did
that
that for
sounds so
myself
cool.
too, but a lot of that stuff wasn't gifts.
Yeah.
but yeah, I got a few things. So
Yeah, that con just for attending just sounded so fun. And
yeah,
like
it was
the
definitely.
I have a soft spot for that. I remember going whenever I'd go to any of those like creative type things, like designer based things.
Hmm.
Like Adobe Max is another one of those where like I could see myself like anytime you're surrounded by like designy stuff, it's really hard to not buy stuff because I
Yeah,
just love design.
yeah,
Um yeah. Speaking of designy stuff that people love to buy, um Scott, uh
yeah,
are like if somebody is wanting to get Christmas presents and stuff, and they went to
yeah.
your website, Are they still gonna? Are you like overstocked, like overloaded, or
So
can they still
here's
get wax packs?
you can, and here's the deal. So I was like, oh, do I run a like a Black Friday type deal or something like that? And to be honest, with these wax packs, since they're all made by hand, they're kind of labor intensive, and I charge as little for them as I really can, and still kind of make it worth make it profitable.
Yeah.
So and I when I went out of town, I was like, I'm trying to, oh, do I run a sale? What do I do? And and also like I have certain ones that have sold out, and I need to, when I sell out, I replenish. And typically if I was on top of things, I would have built up a surplus of packs and things like that, but I just could never get on top of it. So I'm like, even if I did drop the price and I start getting more orders, I wouldn't be able to fulfill them. So I do have them, and I think that they're reasonably priced for what they are, when you
They
consider, like I
are.
said, that they're not, that these are actually like handmade, like I said. So
No, it's an artist product. Like
yeah,
these are
yeah.
not
When
something
you
that's
put it,
sent to
just to
like a
put it
big
into
printer.
perspective, I think I sell them, and of course they're shipping and stuff like that, but I sell them for like $17. Now, when you think the amount of work that goes into one of these packs versus a print, which people are more than willing to pay at the very minimum $20,
Yeah,
and that's
20 to
that's just
30
something that
bucks.
comes off, which can come off like a like an offset printer somewhere, like a second at a time.
Yeah.
Bam, 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 bam. These, so when you put it in perspective, I think they're very reasonably priced. So, and they do make good gifts, and
No,
so yeah.
especially for collectors, because think about
Oh
it,
yeah,
like
yeah,
if you're a collector and you have a rare custom,
yeah,
like, wax pack that can't be found like easily, like this is like, that is a nerd's dream. Like, I would definitely say, like, you guys should, if you want to, like, you fill the stocking with candy, stuff like that, and then you get amazing Scott, like Circworks, like, wax pack. I mean, that would be really cool. So you guys
yeah.
should like, let's make this man sell out of wax packs. Get
Yeah,
wax
so
packs.
they are available at the normal price and everything. So yeah, you can definitely pick those up at circleworks.com. I'll keep it. And one of these days, I will get on top of it, so I can, but you know, I'm also making new packs. So
Yeah.
then it's like it's easier to keep on top of it when you've got 10 different packs, but when you've got 30,
Yeah.
it's like, so, but I love making them. So and I've still got a long list of ones I want to get to. So
Well, and Scott, the beauty of that is, that's going to make them more collectible too, is the nature of this being successful. You will be too busy with them,
yeah,
like, and that'll make them even more collectible, because like if you're keeping them replenished and stuff, still you want to kind of jump on them before they're, but because it might be like, if the orders pick up, like it might be months before you see that run again, or like,
yeah,
so I think it's funny, because it's like what you're describing to me sounds like that's what success should look like on what you're doing, that's
yeah.
great.
Well,
um,
Dylan says, "Wow, I thought they were going to be $40 or $30, maybe $30." Yeah, so I try to price them as reasonable as possible. I mean,
no,
I'll
that's
probably get to the
insanely
point where I may
reasonable.
have to bump it up even $1 or something. But here's the thing: like, people will buy some. There's people that buy my packs and then they go on eBay and flip them for more. Like, especially the
Mhm.
Kiss ones. Like, there's probably a listing for my Kiss cards, and they're asking like $80 for it,
Yep.
for a packet you can buy from me directly for less than $20. So
Again, cost of success. Like,
yeah,
friends of mine who've gotten successful with gig posters see the same thing happen, where they'll do a gig poster release, it sells
yeah,
out instantly, and then it's on eBay for like hundreds of dollars, and it's like they could have, and people will buy it when they
yeah,
could just go directly to the website and buy it for, like, the limited run
yeah,
price.
yeah,
It's, yeah. So I think that's like 17 is unbelievably cool considering, like it's an artist product, this isn't like something Scott just like ordered from overseas and had done, it's like this was all, even the wax itself, right, is put on by Scott, which is cool.
Yeah, I have done that before, Dylan. I have done live streams. If you go back far enough in my live streams, you can find somewhere I actually like make the packs live and stuff. And
Yeah.
I might do some of that again. I'd probably have to kind of build up that audience on the new channel more,
Yeah.
and or maybe just give it a shot and see how many people I can get to tune in. Because
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna be doing them anyway,
yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
could, yeah.
yeah.
The
But
only
yeah, it looks like
downside of that too is like it is nice to like listen to stuff while you're working. Like I love live streaming while I work on comics, but I definitely have times where I'm like, I want to just like zone out and listen to an audiobook, or like Scott just told me about, the Twilight Zone
yeah.
on YouTube, and like now I kind of want to listen to those while I work. But I do think you should do a couple live streams, especially during the holidays when you're catching up on that. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Way to
we'll
make
see.
content.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I guess it looks like we're about our 90 minutes, so
Yep.
we want to wrap it up.
Yep, we hit the mark. Okay, well, so definitely wax packs are good. We all have literate friends and friends who like comics. So yeah, when you're perusing Scott stuff too, consider getting the trade of Young and the Dead. Right,
Here it
that is
is.
a great gift for somebody. It's a complete story, beginning, middle, and end. So like, it's not like giving somebody one issue of a comic where they're going to be like, oh well, that's cool, but now I feel unfulfilled. It's like, no, they get the whole story in one.
Yeah,
Um,
I've got so I a guy I met at a guy I met, he's originally from Australia, but he lives in England now. But I met him
mm,
at Designer Con as part of the group that Sean, our guest Sean was involved in. Uh he's got a stream where they go and they do like a read of like a comic book or whatever, and they'll have different people do different voices and stuff like that. So I was supposed to do it tomorrow, but then I had to cancel because I've got a shop for a car. But I'm hopefully going to do it, a week later or something like that. So when that goes live, I'll have to mention it to people, and so it should be fun, kind of reading at least the first chapter of the comic and everything.
yeah.
But yeah,
I love it. I that actually sounds super fun. You'll have to let us know when that's up. If you guys also are giving literary gifts, consider picking up Jacob's Apartment. It's a good like middle grade to adult comic, to basically uh, for people who like heavy Royal Tenenbaums, like that kind of stuff, right? Indie films and stuff like that. Check out Jacob's Apartment. It's on sale too, so I think on Amazon, currently, at least in the US, it's on sale for like 14 bucks. So you get a full graphic novel, beautifully printed, from Graphic Mundi. One of my one of the things I've made that I'm the most proud of. So consider picking up Jacob's Apartment, getting it for a friend for Christmas, and also consider getting two stories for anyone you know who's interested in mental health issues or struggles with depression or anything like that. That I wrote a book to try to destigmatize that kind of thing. So consider picking that up. And then
I'm
lastly,
just look.
oh, what's up?
I just saw Jim's comment.
Oh, what was
Which
Jim's comment?
cartoonists are superior, Arizona or California? And then let's see. Dylan said that Kevin had a video yesterday. Did
Yeah,
he?
he did mention Yeah, you mentioned Kevin's
Oh,
stream.
I
I
gotta go
I
watch
haven't
that.
seen
I
it.
didn't.
Yeah,
I've been so preoccupied with all this stuff. I didn't even notice that. I gotta go
same
check that
here.
out.
Yeah, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I love his
Um,
videos. So yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so if you guys saw this too, comment down below what you guys have been up to. How was your Thanksgiving? If you're Canadian, how was your Thanksgiving the month before? From what I heard in Canada, there's something similar, but it's like a
Yeah.
month earlier. But yeah, and just let us know how you guys are dealing with the season, because I know things tend to get chaotic towards like Christmas time, right? You're prepping for family, all that kind of stuff. How are you managing to balance your creative projects? We want to hear in the comments below. And then lastly, how are people supposed to keep track of this crazy thing That's the Artcasters. Like once they've bought their Christmas gifts for people, they picked up some wax packs, some Young and Dead, some Two Stories, some Jacob's Apartment. You know, they wrapped them, gave them to friends. They're like, I want to watch the next Artcasters, but I can't figure it out because it was on
Yeah, well,
Josh's
the thing
channel.
is, those other things
What
you
do they do?
mentioned, cost money. The subscribing to the Artcasters newsletter is absolutely free,
Yeah,
and we
but
don't even.
am I going to get spammed or
Yeah,
like?
we don't even spam you or anything. All we do is hopefully about 30 minutes ahead of time. Sometimes we're a little closer, just depending on how long it takes when we're setting up and everything. But we just sent out a reminder, just let people know whose channel it's going to be on, because we go back and forth between Josh's channel and my own. Let us, if we have it. Sometimes we don't have a guest like today, but if we have a guest, we'll let you know who the guest is going to be. All that stuff. It's just way easier than trying to figure all this stuff out, where everything's going to be and what day and all that stuff. So just join the mailing list and we'll just send you a little reminder. That's all it's for. We've never once, we've had this mailing list for a long time, and we've never once sent anything out there's any kind of a promotion or anything like that. So
just that one Nigerian Prince email.
Yeah.
That's the only one we've sent out. And
Yeah.
it was legit. The guy had a whole bunch of gold, and we just wanted to hook people up with getting it in their accounts. That's all. The only reason. No.
Okay. I'm
go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just reading the comments. He said he's watching Kevin's episode on the Artcasters.
Oh, I read it the same way, Scott. I had thought initially he was saying he had a live stream yesterday. I'm like, I got to catch up with him.
Okay. Yeah.
I love it. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Keeman. Thanks to everybody who was in the chats. Thanks to Jim. Jim, we will not fall for your trap of the Arizona versus California. There's good cartoonists all around, and honestly,
by population, we'll have to give it to California, because
that's true.
Chances are there's more, because there's more people there. But that's the only reason.
I don't know. I am starting to get sold on Arizona for that, because I have so many awesome artist friends in Arizona. Arizona sounds like a happening place.
Well, California is the entertainment capital of the world. So I mean,
I'm like, it's kind of an unfair thing, because we also have every animation studio, every film company, most of the major comic companies, but they've got, you got Scott Strickland, you got Gary Hodges. I don't know, man. It's tough. You got, McFarlane too. So
I think he moved to California.
So we've got McFarlane now, but
we had him for a long time. Yeah.
But we appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are having a good holiday and get some time off and are able to rest or to jam on your crazy projects. And we will see you on the next stream. Bye, guys.
Later.
I think I'm going to get murdered by an axe now. Bye.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.